All right, welcome everyone. Looks like we got some people coming in from the waiting room. While we get started, how about everyone say where you're from and if this is your first roundtable or if you're a Hats Partner Roundtable Pro. I'll start in the chat.
Mark from Philly.
Or from Philly.
Kansas, love it.
Welcome, 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 everyone.
Looks like we got a good crowd.
Yeah, lots of people joining.
Like every month we seem to surpass the previous month numbers mark, right? So we're very fortunate to be with uh with so many great people, great MSPs here.
Yeah. All right, we'll give everyone just another minute or two uh, to join. But while everyone's coming in, uh, we want to take a minute just to introduce ourselves because the team has been growing a little bit or a lot. And the roundtable team that you're going to hear from today, it's going to be Jimmy, JP, myself, and Kelsey is not going to be sharing today, but she'll be sharing on future roundtables. But we wanted to make sure that she gets her spotlight today too. But Jimmy, yeah,
Caught in a flight delay, I assume, Kelsey. Typical Kelsey, if you know her. Always on a plane.
some of you might have seen her this week. She was at Robin Robbins. She was in costume part of the time though, so you might not have recognized her.
Mark, I think someone in the chat said they want a copy of the last one, so make sure you send that over.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
I
Yeah,
see
Michael
Kelsey
Robinson.
join.
There she is. So yeah, we will. I'll send out. I'll send out a copy of the previous roundtable. And these partner roundtables are recorded. They are posted on our Hats AI YouTube channel. Towards the end of the roundtable during Jimmy's portion, sometimes there is information that we're more than happy to share with all of you, but we don't want it to be put on our public YouTube channel. So we will sometimes edit that part out and end it a bit early. But if you want the full version, just reach out. And that's always the email to do that is in the description of the YouTube video. So there's some stuff that you only get to see if you're one of our partners. It's not for everyone. Yeah, so we'll all take turns sharing some information and some resources for you. But we're gonna kick things off just by covering some info here about the roundtable and what that means. If this is your first one, roundtable, these are set up like a meeting, so everyone can be on camera. You can jump in, you can ask questions, and uh, just because you have a question, it might benefit everyone else. So this is a roundtable for you to interact with the Hats team and with other MSPs. So we want you to take advantage of that. Before we start really getting into the meat of this, I'm gonna launch our first poll, which is about your favorite LLM and do you thank AI after it answers you? There was a pretty interesting article from Sam Altman about saying please and thank you costing hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars and in electric bills, and interesting to hear whether or not you thank your AI agents, and I'd love to know what your favorite LLMs are. So while people are filling that out, we're gonna kick it over to Jimmy and JP to introduce our partner spotlight for today.
Well, I'll take this one, Mark, and thank you very much. And for those who don't know me, JP is my name. I pretty much help MSPs bring AI as a service to their customers. And as you said, Mark, this is not our first partner roundtable. We've been looking back, and we couldn't believe that it was right back to October of last year when we're very fortunate to have on the partner roundtable Charles Henson from Nashville Computers, and we just thought it'd be good to, say hello to Charles again. And I know Charles, you're on the line here. Um, and when you think about like last October, for me, it doesn't seem too long ago. You got, just before Christmas, I guess. But in AI years, it's like a lifetime, and a lot has changed. So, Charles, I just wanted to probably, just for a few minutes, have a little chat, and it'd be really helpful. You're very, very successful MSP. You're obviously very strong relationships within the MSP community. Speak to other colleagues in that space, and when you look back, back at October and how things were then compared to how they are now, and what's changed, and like what's it all sort of seemed like for you over the last couple of months. It'd be great to get your perspective.
Yeah, it's really been quite the journey. Honestly, I saw hats, did a demo, went to a cigar bar in Nashville. I looked at
Mhm.
the platform and then didn't jump online, and have regrets about not jumping in sooner. But what we've seen is the team adoption throughout our MSP, really where the team is using it. They're building apps. They're performing tasks. They have the apps built out so that they can do recurring tasks. And when you look at how much time we're saving, but not just the time, but the efficiencies. And
Mhm.
one of those efficiencies is, Samantha built out an app to upload the vendor invoice
Yes.
versus what Autotask has. And for, just shy of 200 clients, it goes through and it builds out a table, and it says how many current devices do we have in Autotask and how many did we get billed for? And it shows the difference in that. So she can easily, with all the various vendors, vendor fatigue, right? Going through that and manually looking for that to do these audits would just take hours. And so that's one innovative way that we've used it.
Yeah.
She's putting on a customer experience uh, session, and she's using it to create emails. And all of this stuff would have been, if we had not joined with Hats, we may have been using a free version of, Chat GPT or some other, but we would not have been able to build out the app and do the redundant work from just building that one app. So, as
Yeah.
we look at the way things are progressing, I can tell you that my project manager is the highest user, and I'm worried about all the credits that he's using. If you
Right.
guys don't go log in and look, but
Mm.
he is really using this thing most every single day. And so
Mm.
we've really, like, this journey is, should we do this? Let's look at this, take a demo of it. And we did a couple of demos with you guys. And then it's like, okay, who in the organization does not have it? Because you need to be using this on a daily basis.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, we'll get to credits later. It's and Jimmy's going to touch on it. It's a really good thing. We want to definitely help people use it and remove any barriers on that one. Um, so it's I'm curious, like you're definitely, yeah, and your team early adopters. You talk about Samantha and obviously getting that use case together. When you think about that early journey, Charles, even within the company and helping people understand it and get started, what are you noticing, if anything, within the customer base? Like what I'm wondering, like that's a boulder to, help people get up that hill. And once they begin using it, it can accelerate. Have you seen some good examples within customers, others that are, indifferent, or are they excited about AI in general?
Yeah. So, using it for ourselves allows our team to have a better conversation with our
Mm.
clients.
Mhm.
And what they're seeing is they're doing proof of concepts, as you guys know.
Mm.
And, we should be getting signed orders from the proof of concepts that we have active right now, because what the clients are enjoying about it is how it can help them make a better presentation, create the
Mhm.
presentation, offer images, ideas for images, and just using it from that area we're getting a lot of great feedback. They're like, well, how else can we use this? And I really think that what you guys have done right is you have the training. You didn't just create the platform and say, here's hats and go use it. You created that training so that people understand how to build out their persona, how to build out the app, how to use the program. And by doing that, we're able to translate and take that information, that knowledge, and have a better conversation with our clients because we are more informed. We're better educated on AI than if we just said, hey, are you using AI? And, how are you using it? Today, we can
Yeah.
have a stronger conversation because of the training that you guys offered us. And, so to me, it's best for my uh, clients to have that conversation with us because we are better equipped to talk to them
Yeah.
about AI than somebody that has not used this platform.
Great point. Great point. And you mentioned the training. It's interesting. Would you do anything different, Charles? Like, um, I'm thinking about some customers in general, their readiness for anything, right? Forget about AI. Like you've seen it across all like the CEO needs to be engaged, needs to drive that adoption. Um, what? I might be putting you on the spot here, by the way, but like, what would be the things that you might want to do differently, or what should we do differently to position it the right way so that decision maker understands it and um,
Sure. The only thing I could think, JP, is, somebody might look at the training and say, wow, that's going to take a lot of time. So the only
yeah,
thing is, and you don't need to go back and revamp your training, but like it's how would we have smaller increments of training over time? And it's kind of like when we do, uh, cybersecurity awareness training, we put it into little chunks and we do it over time. And so even you guys could say, hey, here's a new feature,
yeah.
here's a little 5-minute module. Go watch
Mm,
this so that you have a better understanding of what's new in the platform. Hey, we have
mm.
some new LLMs. This is use case scenarios for these. This might be the best thing for those. And, because as you build that training out, is something that all of our clients could also benefit from. And if they see them in smaller chunk sizes where they can, take the bite and digest that instead of spending 30 minutes to an hour on training, that would be the only advice that I would give you is have that ongoing training that's in smaller time frames so that they can get those accomplished.
It's what's so cool about the MSP community in general. You know, um, we learn so much together. And I mean, Jimmy will talk about this later. With the feedback we get from MSP is so valuable. And I know Jimmy will mention this later in roadmap. All our best ideas, certainly all my best ideas come from conversations with someone like you, Charles, and others here that are on the line. Um, just to wrap it up a little bit, Charles, like again, you're an early adopter. There's many folks here that might be a little bit, just starting out, right? They've, as you said, deployed AI internally. They're probably driving that education, some internal use cases. Um, what what um, what words of wisdom or golden nuggets might you have if you know what you know?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the training, right? You don't know what you don't know.
Mm,
And, we can all sit and type in a prompt, but if we're not putting that prompt in properly, is it going to give us the output that we actually wanted or is going to be the most useful? And
yeah.
so my advice is for you guys to, do the training as soon as possible. Get your employees to do the training as soon as possible because it's going to not only allow them to use AI in a much better manner, it's also going to help educate them so that you can have really great conversations and be very knowledgeable when you're going to market and talking to your clients about AI. Because at the
Mm,
end of the day, our client depend on us to be that expert resource for them and we need to be the go-to educator for them. And if you're not educating your clients on AI, somebody else is, or they're asking AI to do it for you. And that's not where you want to be. So take advantage of the training that's already there and just learn in just absorb everything you can about prompt engineering and the persona and all things that you guys have already built out. It's phenomenal training.
Fantastic. Charles, just for me, I know Jimmy might want to get in here, but for me, like, thank you again for everything you're doing, and thanks for popping on. I definitely know a lot of folks have getting value from your words of wisdom and your insight. But anything to finish on, Jimmy?
No, Charles, just so thankful to have you on and have you as a partner. It's been great getting to work with your team and seeing the usage among everyone, you know, grow as people adopt it, and then also great to see and learn together as we go to market with your clients. It's been a lot of fun, and we appreciate you, and always listen and take into account you and your team's feedback along the way. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you guys. I mean, it's instrumental what you guys are doing for us and how much time and efficiency and even the audits of, making sure that we're not missing anything, in our tool sets and we're not leaving clients vulnerable, right? I mean, there's so many other pieces. And when we're going to market, that your team is there. They're working with us to help close those deals. So I really appreciate that as well. So thank you guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Charles.
you.
And it's a great segue. You mentioned partner resources, so I'm going to hand over to you, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, JP, and thanks again, Charles. Really, it's great to see how far you guys have come since talking to us in October, and it's always good to hear from you. We're going to jump into some partner resources. This section is really just meant to help you understand what's out there. Charles mentioned that the team is here to help you close the deals, and JP will talk about that and go to market. But when you run into problems or you have any questions, we're here to help with those too. This is we've mentioned this a couple times before, and I think I'd say 99% of you are using this, but help at hats.ai is the way to get the best, quickest results. And we also have an AI powered chat agent there named Lark Meeper, who has access to all of our documentation, all the training as well. So if you have a question about prompt engineering, it knows all of the scripts and slides from the training courses. Docs.hats.ai is there if you want to watch some videos and read articles as well. So check both of those out. We're adding something new this time, a quick use case highlight. We want to just make sure you see the power of the new features and things that we've added. 30 seconds here. This is something I use almost every day, and it saves me about 15 to 30 minutes a day. This is speaking of the training reports that we get are very hard to interpret. There's a lot of data in there that I don't need, and I'm not great at Excel. So I just drop that into Hats. I tell it what I want from it, and it reformats that nasty spreadsheet into this really useful progress tracker. I use this probably 20 times a day. It's one of my all-time favorites. The next use case is the AI-powered search that we have. So Jimmy's going to talk about this in the product updates. This is really helpful if you need to go out and find real-time information. Instead of plugging in one URL at a time, you can have the AI-powered search go out, find the information you need, and it'll actually create links if you need links for further reading. So many use cases. We'll be putting more of these out on LinkedIn over the next couple of weeks, but been using this a lot more recently, and it's really helpful, especially with research and learning about all the new things in AI. Even it's a great teacher resource. So yeah, you can see you can click on these links now from the chat. More use cases are available. If anyone wants access to our demo use cases, we have sample files available in a SharePoint folder. You can go and grab the documents to use if you're demoing Hats to a customer, and you want to show some use cases. There's files that you can use here, and you can actually click right into the app that you're going to demo. The last bit here is on a new certification course. This will be coming out next month. We've gotten a lot of questions about the Zapier integration. It came out a few months ago, as well as the API basics. I'm not a programmer, but I can, we can put together some basic API explanations beyond just the documentation page, as well as the workflows, which Jimmy will cover. So this will be a quick, 15, 20-minute course coming out next month to help you through how to take hats to the next level. And I will hand it back over to JP.
And it'd be handy if you got off mute. Mark, thank you. That's brilliant. Really, really appreciate it. So you can see the screen, Mark, right?
Yes.
Okay. I sort of wedged this in a little bit at the start. So this week there was a new, for those that pay attention to the Work Trend Index, and I just thought it was good to put it in here. Really, really helps sort of position what we're trying to do and the overall thesis and the opportunity for MSPs. We all know we're at this turning point and how every business and your customers operate. And Microsoft developed this report. They call it the year of the frontier firm is born. And it's like new organizations where humans and AI agents work side by side. And couple of the key takeaways, and you guys can go and get the report and use hats and try to get the summaries of it. But ultimately, AI intelligence on tap. It isn't anymore an experiment, right? It's operational, and we talked about Jimmy in the early days talked about it's a bottom up approach with AI. It's becoming more top down. Leaders are no sort of longer asking if they can use AI. They're really wondering how fast they can scale it, and every employee is going to become a manager of a bot of an agent, and all of these changes require help and enablement and design and training and management, and that's exactly where MSPs are going to come in. And previous roundtables we talked about the CEO of NVIDIA speaking about IT and MSPs will become the HR of AI agents. So that's exactly the role of MSPs, and helping to provision and securely, and training, as Charles talked about, and monitoring this new digital workforce. So that was good to sort of put this up front, and I know Jimmy will pick up on it later as well. Worth reading, definitely sets the tone here, and what a paradigm shift and what an opportunity. And MSPs, folks in this, are really perfectly positioned to move. And I think the ones that have moved are the ones that are certainly ones on this call, but that are going to take advantage of the opportunity. So what's the one thing that we know MSPs are doing today? And if you're not already, just make sure your managed service customers know that you can help provision secure AI. And that's really all that we need to do today, is just make sure they know then they're going to you for all of their needs, and helping them to get started. And really, that's the AI playbook. So we talk about this quite a bit. Right now today, it's all about just getting the customer started. We're going to talk about small changes in the starter pack in a moment, but that's really a package that you can go in and help deploy AI across all of your customers and all of their employees, helping them get secure chat, get some education, that can be helpful, and ultimately trying to adopt some workflows, and that's the pathway. It's really a 1, 2, 3 approach, and a lot of this content you can lift here, put it in your QBRs, put it in your sales team so they can have a conversation. It's simple as 1, 2, 3. Get them to start using secure chat, which is a really good bedrock, good foundation. Little bit of education, 5-10 minute video to help them understand level 1, which is how do I spell AI, right? The basics. Level 2, how do I think about using chat in my day-to-day? And then they're ready to maybe try a couple of automations. And we have within the platform pre-built automations. We're going to do a lot more work in categorizing them, but ultimately you can pick three and just give them to a customer. There's some really good universal ones there that'll help.
And JP, just to jump in for a second, I'm sure there's people listening and not watching the chat, but I've been responding to everyone in the chat. Um, I'm going to do a quick interjection on summary of what has been covered here, just so if people are just in a different tab or listening, they know. People asked how to access the training. You just go in your dashboard. There's a little button, Learning Portal. People asked what LLM to choose. There's a doc article about it. We are adding some updates in the product very soon, where it'll either auto choose or just more clarity on what LLMs are good for what. People have mentioned that they always are very kind to their AI agents, just in case Skynet takes over and the rise of the machine happens. I am also, I don't, just in case. People also ask how, if they need help on pricing with their clients, who should they reach out to? I said JP and Mark. Also, welcome to email or message on email help at Hats AI or message on docs.hatsai. But you can also reach out to them directly. Um, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot more. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. I'll keep trying to answer them as we go. Sorry.
Thanks. No, that's brilliant, and we'll jump into those as well. And one of them was, where do I go if I want to get that education piece? And it's right up here at the top, Learning Portal, and it's something that you can again follow yourself within your own MSP, but you can provision this to a customer, and these things are optional. You can turn them on and off as you wish. But that's a really good place to start. The workshop, again, we talked about those simple automations. So it's as simple as one, two, three. And I think also within the platform, we make it easy. And just to touch on that one, Jimmy, so how do I buy a package, right? So if you have access to the admin portal for your own tenant, you'd simply go to billing and buy licenses. And we've made a slight tweak, a really, again, back to the early thing, Jimmy, we talked about. Feedback is the oxygen for hats. We got great feedback on where the packages were, so we made a couple of slight tweaks, which we're delighted to say is really, really positive, making it so simple now. We've doubled each package credits. So we'll Jimmy, you might take some of this maybe later on as well, because I know and then we've also removed all user limits. And I think it might be good to spend a little bit of time on it, Jimmy, if you want now. But they're
Yeah,
two,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, look, we talk to a lot of partners. We don't want to discourage usage, so we're increasing the credit limits for everyone. And a lot of people said like we just want to get everyone started in an organization, and we don't want user limits, so we got rid of those too. We've been very flexible with usage and credits. This is a new area for a lot of MSPs, basically everyone, because it's all new stuff. We're aggregating access to 30 different models across 10 different providers. So things are changing, and we want to make it as easy as possible for everyone. So I'll talk a bit more in product, but we're working on a lot of things to demystify sort of like how credits are calculated and what uses a lot, what doesn't, when to use different LLMs, that kind of stuff. But just to give you an example, like in the real world, like uh, uh, OpenAI is actually deprecating GPT 4.5 because they made it too expensive for themselves. And everyone on their own platform was hitting their usage limits, and they weren't even allowed to add file uploads to it. There's just so much moving parts, and keeping track of all the different LLMs is a full-time job for multiple people on our team. We just want to make it as easy as possible for all of you guys. If something wonky happens, or you're nervous, or you accidentally used too many credits and you didn't understand, just reach out to us. We'll work with you.
yeah, yeah. That's a great spirit to work through the next little while, Jimmy. And we're seeing, generally speaking, though, for most organizations, it's ample as they all adopt AI. So these starter packs, as the first one as an example, is a really good way. Go into the platform, get a starter pack, give it to your customers, and then with that no user limit, it just makes it very, very easy. So delighted with that. More to follow. Jimmy and I'll touch on it later as we drive a little bit more education and visibility around it all. Bookending this with the playbook, like I said, just sign up the customers, get them started. The user limit's gone. It really just makes that super easy. And then drive that next step. I said, Charles talked about it and many others on this call. I think there's probably something where an MSP can help, and that's for your customers, just making sure that the CEO or that person responsible is driving that adoption. That's one of the key indicators for success, where again they may have turned on a secure AI, but also they want to really start the journey and drive that adoption within their code. That's a key indicator there. Lastly, we were delighted last month to have our first AI open house, overwhelmed by the positive response. 21st of May is the next one. It's a great opportunity to, as you start with your customers, get them started, have them use the platform. It's a point in time where you can share the open house where your customers can pop on, see some use cases, understand a little bit more about the platform itself and how to use it. And so it's really good for customers that have already got access. Also for those that want to learn a little bit more, but we would definitely encourage, just get them started, have them use the platform, get some education, but then the open house puts lots of icing on the cake. And Mark is I know working to finish off really cool use cases to demo on the 21st of May. So we're looking forward to that. With that, Mark, I know you had a new segment. You want to take this?
Yeah. In the future, like we said at the beginning, we'll have Kelsey on to talk through a little bit on the marketing and some of the education side as well. We have recently started a series, it's sort of a mini podcast on LinkedIn, about 2 to 3 minutes once a week, where Kelsey asks me questions, and they're not dumb questions. So what we want is to help you understand and demystify some of the AI concepts that you might hear us talking about. So if you have anything that you want to know, that you want us to address on this little podcast series that we do weekly, put it in the chat. If you think of something later, just send over an email, and we'll include it in a future podcast. The first version or the first episode is on our LinkedIn, and I believe Kelsey is publishing the second one either today or early next week. So we'll keep these going. There's no dumb questions in AI. When I first started working with Hats and with Jimmy, I felt like all I had were dumb questions. And if I didn't ask them, I wouldn't be here right now. You got to ask those questions and get answers. So there's no judgment, no dumb questions, just ask them and we'll cover them in the pod.
Great. And as we have back up to you, Jimmy, I just want to acknowledge Kelsey, who's traveling today, may or may not be on, I'm not really sure. But I hear those hats are prime property. Everyone's seeking them out, the new hats. They're in true Texan style. So Kelsey's been at an event this week, going next week. We're really thrilled that she's on the team. So between Kelsey and Mark and myself, if you have any questions, just reach out directly and we'll make sure you guys get what you need. But with that, Jimmy, over to you.
Hey, thanks. And I love following Kelsey's AI journey as she learns things and publicly documents it. It's great. It's great. All right. So let's share my screen here. All right. So the last 30 days, sort of since we last spoke on this meeting, we released our multi-step workflow engine. We released an Office 365 integration. We added 9 or 10 new AI models across 3 families. We added a AI-powered search, which we'll cover in a little bit more detail. We added dual audio recording for AI phone agent. And then we added the first version of custom password reset emails. And also like some minor stuff like drag and drop file upload in App Builder, just things that, weren't there initially. So to go through it in a little bit more detail, and I put the little credit icons next to it so people can get an idea of how many credits these different models use. We're going to be adding indicators like this into the product too. We added the GPT 4.1 models. 4.1 is excellent at coding. That's actually what it's best at. But it is just an all-around great model. Highly recommend it. 4.0 and 4.1, just really good, fast AI models. And then if you're doing workflows and you need stuff like classification, extracting small information, Mini and Nano are excellent at that, and they are very fast and low cost or low credit models, along with the entire Amazon Nova family. They're great. We also added Grok 3 in the first day that it was released in the API, so everyone has access to those XAI models as well. And so Office 365 integration. I covered this a bit last roundtable in our strategy of Office 365. So we're working on a totality of Microsoft Graph integration. The first is just being able to obviously access your OneDrive and SharePoint files in the chat. We are The next thing we're going to be adding is a persistent login. So instead of like having to basically authenticate in the web UI, whenever you're using it, being able to have like an enterprise app permissions, and that way you can use your Office 365 files persistently in the background with workflows that can sort of like run over API, and it has access to whatever information it needs. So that is the foundational work for our Microsoft Graph integration. I saw some people in the chat asking about Teams and like and we're working on all of that right now. So it's going to come through in chunks. You're going to see different parts of it at different times. So you'll most likely see OneDrive and SharePoint in the background first, like add a library add a folder library to to a chat or things like that. And then you'll start to see stuff like Teams and email and Outlook and things that make the workflows very, very powerful. I will say too, we're doing a lot of updates right now on our AI phone agents. So you can expect, better and new voices, better functionality, easier deployment over the next 30 days or so. An additional part of that was just making sure that we were getting all of the dual audio recording for the agents. AI powered search. So, well, I spoke a lot about model context protocol, or MCP, in our last roundtable. Those who were here probably remember it. But basically, the idea is you can give AI tools in a way that it can, in a standardized way, and it can decide what different tools to use. So for our AI powered search, what we actually do is we have a specific AI that's abstracted from the chat when you turn this on. And what we do is we send the user request or the chat history to that AI, and that AI has a lot of different tools. So right now it has Brave Search, Perplexity, and Firecrawl. And these tools give it access to do perform multiple searches through Brave and Perplexity, but also Fire Crawl, where it can go and crawl entire websites, specific web pages, lots of different things. So if you have the AI powered search on, you can put URLs in the chat. It can look them up. It can also do things like search, perform a search, and then actually go through the links that it looked through on the search. So this is going to be continued to improve. We're going to add more search tools to it. We'll be swapping out, search providers as better providers, come online. And we're also doing a lot of things to manage the context of these searches. So, for example, if you're fire crawling, if you're crawling the docs page of a certain website in an automation, you don't want to wait every single time for the AI to go look on the website. You'd rather just cache it and upload it every so often. So these are features that we're going to continue to add and improve that AI powered search as we go. And basically what it does is it takes the search results, all the information it looks at, and sends that to the initial AI that you actually chose in your chat, in the model switcher. That way you can get a more comprehensive result. We also added multi-step workflows. So basically you can take multiple nodes or multiple prompts and chain them together. So Mark has an example here where, we take the output of one prompt and add and use it in the next two. You can use different AI models, so you can even compare responses from 2 or 3 models. And these can actually run in parallel. Like you can see that in this example, the last step actually ran before the second step because of the way that the nodes are set up. So because of that, it can run very quickly and is very powerful. This again was really just the start to this product. So we're going to have a lot of updates to that. You're going to see true workflow features and third-party integrations. And we're also building these in 2 different ways where you can add them as agents like we do with the AI powered search, or be prescriptive like you might be used to with a Zapier type workflow where you say, this is the exact request, this is the exact information that I want to put in, versus AI can just decide and do it in the background. Another thing we added was custom.
I'll let you take a breath for a sec. That's really cool. Just a couple of questions, Jimmy, on the AI powered search that are in the chat.
Sure.
Opportunity to speak to it. I'll shout them out here. So, is a browser integration in the works? And then number 2, can AI search do research like you do on ChatGPT? Frequently doing research and writing work at the same time on my GPT account.
Yes. So a browser integration, I'd ask, are they asking for AI to take over their browser, or AI to, or
is a browser integration in the works? So we can get back to it. That's all the question is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's we're right now, people might have seen OpenAI Operator. We did a lot of research on this actually last year. The underlying tech is sometimes called Web Voyager, where AI actually operates a computer in a sandbox. I don't think it's really there yet in terms of being very useful. It's great for a demo or a proof of concept. But we did a lot of research on web crawlers, and actually the providers that we use are very good and can get information better than even some of the big companies. A browser integration of the actual as a sort of Chrome extension that is in the works. Probably something that we'll release next quarter. What was the next question, JP?
I think Mark covered Sharice's questions here, and he also said that there's some information coming in the learning portal. Thanks, Mark, for that. So Thanks, Jim. I just jumped in because I before you passed the AI
No,
search.
no, sorry, I don't have the chat up, so appreciate
No,
it.
no, good.
Yeah, so and then we added so you could customize the password, reset emails, you could take out, our information. We are adding an AI editor to this, and we will eventually add being able to send from your own domain as well. We're taking it in steps here, but as most of you know, we got rid of like password reset links. I think a lot of they just become a monster with spam filters, and we have a lot of security settings on, obviously. So switching to code based was a big move for us, and I think put helped a lot of people out. But now you can customize how these look and how these feel, and put your own brand on it, and just edit the HTML. Um, but sort of like coming next, we have a big chat update that's probably next week or the week after. So what that is going to include renaming chats, being able to bulk delete, better search for chats, less overall like bugginess, better error handling. So people have maybe sent us weird messages they've gotten. We rewrote the whole thing. So it's a big update for us, and I think it's going to make everyone's lives a lot easier. You'll also be able to see sort of the AI powered search, what it's actually doing in the background. So there'll be like a little hover over. So it'll be like, I am gathering search results using this query, and then I'm looking at this web page. That'll demystify a lot of what's happening in the background there. We're also adding the search into workflows. So a big sort of like mind shift that people should be aware of when working with AI workflows is you can do sort of things two ways. So if you have an AI workflow that's goal is to read information on a specific website, you can either add a step that is go. You can add three steps. One, use AI to generate the specific input you want. And then do an actual step that goes and looks up that information on the website, and then do a third step that takes that response and does whatever you need with it. But with adding an AI powered search in a workflow, you can do that all in one step, and the AI just sort of handles it for you. We'll be adding a lot of training and resources on that too. I think we're all going to you'll see that sort of the number of integrations that come in our workflow builder will be like, it'll be happening very fast. We're going to be adding a lot pretty quickly. The AI assisted email builder, you'll see like more AI assisted stuff in our product just in general, like AI assisted app builder, AI assisted email builder. But basically, we released the first version of the email, like custom email templates. And then we're like, why don't we just make it so AI can rewrite that for you? So you can literally type in, change everywhere it says Hats AI to Nashville computer and make it, blue. And then it'll just recode it for you. We're going to be adding the O3 model, and then we already sort of added the reasoning through the AI powered search agent, but we are also going to be making it so you can actually see what it's thinking as it's going. For credit usage, there's going to be a lot here. I think you'll see like better indicators on what models use a lot of credits, but also more clear documentation actually in the product on how credits are used. Just generally speaking, we using lots of files. When you take a file, what we're actually doing is we're turning it into text and we're sending it along with the message. So if you say like, read this file, and you attach a big file, it's basically like copying and pasting the entire file in the chat. And there's lots of like different things we do to optimize that and use less credits or less tokens, especially if the file's too big. But you can expect lots of updates to the platform, so it's very clear how things are calculated, where you're at, and we will continue to have a lot of patience with our partners as we optimize that. Office 365, I think I spoke on that a bit, but being able to have an enterprise app where it's off into specific, granular access control, and then a lot of updates to our workflows. So being able to see the run history, being able to send custom webhooks or HTTP requests, and then also having triggers like email a workflow or an app, and it just runs for you, and then our file libraries as well. Okay, I just hovered over the chat and saw 13 questions. JP, you wanna?
Well done. You got through a lot there, Jimmy, and thank you for that. Yeah, I'll give people a moment to put in any other questions they had, but if I could take a couple from the top, Jimmy, and then we can see where we
Sure.
are. Any update in the ability to enforce 2FA on client tenants?
Yes, we will have that in the next 30 days. Apologies, I should have put it in here.
No problem. There we are, David. 30. Yep, great. Any plans to add image generation AI like DALI?
Yeah, we are. It'll be sooner rather than later, probably. Like, I don't want to say next 30 days. It's actually not a ton of work on our end to add it. To be honest, um, we just need to update the UI a little bit. So I'll say the next 60 days for that. But if we get a lot of requests for it, we could expedite that. To be honest, happy to add that in.
Speaking of which, Jimmy, I just put in the chat our feature requests page. So everything you put in there, in terms of feature requests, you can vote on existing ones or put in something new. That'll definitely, I know, go straight to Jimmy. So one here, there's a couple of around credit usage. What's the cost of credits and if they're exceeded, and then also is there credit usage widget that can be floated in the user environment. So I know, Jimmy, and maybe tee you up here, we have a lot of visibility today in the platform around usage and adoption, and that'll enhance over time. And at the same time, we have an FAQ. We were just finalizing that. I know will definitely help. But some of that we mentioned there, some of those general questions that pop up. But if you want to touch on it again, Jimmy, for anyone that missed it, credit usage, questions, queries, and then the spirit and what we're going forward here is like encourage usage. Like it's a good thing. We want people to adopt AI, right?
Yeah. Look, there's probably everybody's trying to figure out AI usage right now. There's like a million companies, popping up trying to optimize pricing for AI and outcome-based pricing and credit-based pricing and blah 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 blah. We are working on two different things. One, making it very clear in the platform on what models use a lot of credits, how they're calculated, and now you can sort of piece that all together through like the docs and the FAQs, but it's not easy, it's not intuitive. So we're fixing that, and that is a top priority right now, and it's something the team is actively working on. The second is sort of like how do you handle overages and abstractions and that kind of stuff. So like if you use I think what's happened now is our users on ChatGPT, Anthropic, Copilot, etc. The have realized that $20 a month unlimited is not really unlimited, and what happens is larger, more powerful models get blocked. Things like uploading a file on the best models aren't possible. And we don't want to limit anyone on that. So we are working too on like a out of credits mode, limit the number of models that people have access to, and also the ability to disable models too. That's actually something that'll probably come much sooner. Um, uh, so you could expect something there, but we also, want, like, if people want to use the best models all the time because it gives them the best outcome for the business, we want to make that available to them, and we don't necessarily want to go down a path where everyone gets put in a bucket on, like, okay, this user gets rate limited. When in reality, if you have a large organization, you have a couple power users, and then you have a lot of people, like, sort of like casual users. Um, so uh, a lot. So in summary, the two parts. One, um, uh, better clarity in the product on, like, just from a UI perspective, like how things are calculated and where you're at, and what uses a lot of credits. And then two, um, having an option for a sort of like out of credits mode where you can keep using it, but features are a little limited, with the option to, of course, ignore that and keep going. I will say too, we haven't, we just doubled the number of credits. We removed user limits. We
Yeah.
haven't charged people overages. We have a lot of patience right now with our partners. We want you to use things. We want you to experiment. I know, like, it's, raising my hands here, it's hard to know, like, how I'm using so many credits or how this happened. And that's okay. I don't want to punish people and send them a big surprise bill because of that. So, until we can get better clarity on all of that, make it very clear in the product, that is 100% how we are approaching things. And we just want everyone to use the product.
Thank you, Jimmy. That's great. That's great. As I see David has said, so, what happens when you run out of credit? So, like, I think Jimmy just answered it perfectly there, where, it's definitely edge case as well, Jimmy, right? Like, having doubled, it was already a lot of credit, having doubled each package now, it's very much fair, edge cases at best. We're probably seeing the opposite, where, you want to get your customers to use it and encourage adoption. They're coming from a very low base quite often. So, yeah. Jimmy, that's all of the questions I see in the chat. So I'll hand it back to you to wrap it up.
Yeah. No, I appreciate everyone for joining. David, to very directly answer your question, what happens if you run out of credits? Nothing right now. We'll reach out to you and tell you, and we'll probably tell you to encourage using it. Now, if someone is using our API and querying 250,000 documents and classifying them, we might have a conversation about that. But if it's just normal usage and you're going over, where it just keep going. We'll get people on the right packages over time. We have patience, and we want to encourage usage as everyone learns this AI industry together and brings it to market to their clients. Thank you all.